fish in a very blocked out manner. Now what we're going to do is to improve the quality of modeling or quality of topology by adding detail into various areas. So you can do a quick preview of how this fish looks from a smooth standpoint by pressing 3. Okay, 3. Now 2 is a hybrid version where you can see both. You can see the low res cage, that's a term used, and the high res mesh. And 1 is obviously the low res. 2 is this caged version, and the 3 is just smooth version. So the interesting thing is when you're really, the more detail you put, the more, you see how the fish kind of jumps, it kind of shrinks down. The interesting thing is the more detail you put in, the more polygons there are to hold the fish down, so to speak, and it will shrink lesser and lesser to a point that 1 and 3 will, of course, you'll see a difference, but it won't be very drastic. And that's a hallmark of good modeling. Okay, so how do we go about all that? Right, so let's get started. So this is what we're going to do. We are basically going to add edge loops where they matter. So when I look around, I'll see that, okay, this area looks pretty good. That's enough. But here, I could use a little more detail here. All right, so I'll put one edge loop right there. And now don't just leave it there, because if you just create an edge loop, like, see, just placing an edge loop doesn't matter, because that did nothing to anything, because things still look blocky, you know? So when you place an edge loop, your goal is to make it immediately round it, curve it. And now, in fact, the moment I did that, I'm thinking, okay, we got to make sure that things are as curved as possible even before I do anything. So I do notice some things I should do to improve things. Notice how this is, see, there's this like a clean angle, and I can improve it by taking this line and pulling it outwards. This would be different for each of you. All right, so don't expect this to be exactly what you will be doing, but it's the thinking that matters. So in fact, in this process, guys, I don't want you to do exactly what I'm doing. I want you to look at your own fish and just apply this thinking. And the thinking is smooth it as it matters, add detail as it matters, smooth it as it matters. So here, I'm going to just hold on control, right click, and say 2 vertices so I can select the vertices involved in this, and I'll just I'll scale it outwards. For that, I'll just snap it to the grid right in the middle. You know how that goes. Oops, yes, and scale it out. So you see in that process, suddenly that angularity went away, and it just made it more nicer looking. And I think I can do the same for this one also. So you see, the thinking is what matters, guys, right? So it's not exactly what I'm doing that matters. It is just apply this thinking to your own model. Put it in the middle and scale it just touch. See how nice it looks, even without having added any extra polygon. It looks good, it looks good. So I'm looking all around to look for small weaknesses in the modeling. Great, look at that. Wonderful. In fact, the more you do this, you'll see that the fish will be more and more appealing to you. You'll want to fry it. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now I can go back to what I was doing earlier. It's just I'll add an edge loop right here, because this looks a little choppy right there. Okay, good. Now, the moment I do that, I will immediately want to scale it. Like I said, guys, it doesn't matter how you're doing the selection tools. It's totally up to you. You know what to do now. Just use it creatively. Okay, that's good. That's good enough. So you see, just minor touches is all that'll matter for now. So edge loops looks good, looks good. Okay, right here, let's improve this area. Okay, so I'm going to put one edge loop here, and surely I'm going to add like 3, because you need like 3 edge loops to make a good for better edge flow. So, but for that, let me fix this, improve this area. That's good. Wonderful. Okay, great. Now, and yes, see how it's a little jagged. Smooth it, curve it. There we go. That was it. That was all I needed there. Now let me add look, transitions between the body and the tail. Currently, that there is only one edge loop that is creating that. Like I said, but 3 makes a better one. So I'll just put one here. Oops. Okay, now I'll add one more here. And see, what I'm going to do is I'll kind of give it a nice little curve right there. That's what will improve this whole thing. Great. I think this one needs a little more treatment. There. Great. That's going to bend very nicely now. Now I'm continuously looking. So all right here, see? See, this looks pretty bad. I need to improve this. So as you do this, you're continuously finding places to improve it as you go. See, now this looks pretty bad. So you can keep working. So, and see, that should be curved. It's not good enough. Let's curve it. So this is really a fun process. And I keep telling you, do not do exactly what I'm doing. Just apply the thinking, and that's all that matters. Just look for places that should be curved. Look for places that should be improved. Look for places where that needs a little one more that extra edge loop to improve geometry. You see, this one, you need one right here also. So at the end of the day, like, how many do you need? Well, as long as just enough to create a general sense of curvature. That's all that matters. See, no one will in their right mind will ever say this is low poly. See, this is nice and smooth, nice and smooth. Now this area could be improved. Yes, at the very end, it's a good idea to put one pretty close, because that will actually hold it down much better. See that? Okay, and I will take the I should take the time to curve it. See, this is pretty jagged, but I'm also making sure that I'm not spending too much time with this, so it takes away too much of your time. So again, the thinking is all that matters. And see, this line looks pretty jagged, so curve it as you go, and make sure you have symmetry on, okay, in this whole thing. Otherwise, it's a big waste. Great. So the hull looks pretty good, except now a few other areas. Okay, so looking at this, I think yes. Let's look at. I'll do the work on the fin a little later. Still, there's stuff to be done here. So you can just by doing this, you'll have an idea of where you really need polygon. See the lips popping in and out? It just means it needs more stuff to hold it down, and it's pretty low res. So I'm going to put an edge loop. Firstly, this something looks pretty bad. Looks like the Joker's face or something. So I'm going to fix this. So this is the most creative part of this entire thing, because we were so far we were so obsessed with structure. Now we are more obsessed with style. Okay, great. So now keep going. All right, great. Now I think I'll add some more detail. So watch this, guys. This is how I'm going to add detail on the lips. First thing I'll do is place an edge loop right here, right around here, to make a better transition. Like that. Okay. All right. All right. Now what I'll do is this, the lips itself. Well, I'll put an edge loop right here. See how it nicely passes through the entire thing? And again, see how it's actually a pretty simple affair. Just every time you do this sort of stuff now, it's just scaling it very smartly. So place it in the middle, place it maybe just slightly at the end, maybe here. Look, I'll move the pivot points to right here. Now I should be able to just scale it outward and make it a nice curved lips. And we do the same from the side also. Great. That makes it very luscious and very good. Let's see. That should be enough for that. Now, a little later, I'll show you how I might approach this area, because I'm tempted to put an edge loop here, but then it goes all across, up and down the, you see how it just creates this really thin line here. That's exactly the kind we don't want to have. So I'll show you how I would just improve the edge loop right here by kind of cutting up the fish and adding some extra detail here. That's a different matter. We'll get there. Now let's look at the fins. All right, so looking at the fin, I'm thinking on the side, it's totally fine. This area looks a little too flat, could use some extra detailing, and maybe I'll do that. So if I do this, and could I use that extra line there? Yeah, I think so. In fact, I would just space this out a little differently. So what I do is, okay, so I just place that edge loop right there, and I'm thinking that now that I place it, before I even touch this the fin, I'll improve the lines here. So I selected all this. Hold on, control right click, two vertices. So I selected all that, and just the middle, just a touch up, done. Okay, now I see that. See, this is I could improve the positioning of this a little better. So what I'll do is I'll select these edges, because you see how this became very tight, too close. So I'm going to just slide this like that to even it out. Again, your goal is not to do exactly what I'm doing, because every fish is different. So again, at the end of the day, it's just the thinking that matters. So here I'll now for me to move this along this line, remember this little, I select this vertex, then double click here, this little button here, set to component, select a component, and just slide it down. Same thing here, set to component, slide it down. Great. So I kept the curves intact. All right, see, now that kind of smoothed it out, I can improve this a little. See how it's a little too jagged. Set to component. Nice. Great. All right, now, so that's how I'm doing that now in this area. Select these edges. I'll just select the vertex and slide it. Yeah, I think so. This I spaced it out nicely, and also I can spend a little more time improving it. But see, it's overall it's getting nice. Same thing here. Great. See, nice. So you see the number of the polygons are just evening out pretty nicely. This whole area looks pretty good now. And now I can worry about this last area. Okay, this area. So the first thing I'll do is, yes, this definitely needs some work, right? It's an edge loop. I'll put an edge loop right here, but see, before I do that, I'll do the same thing I did here. See, 3 makes a really good transition from between one shape to the other. So maybe I don't need 3, at least maybe 2, just 1 and a 2. I could put a third one, but now I see that in this case it's not that necessary. Snapping it to the spot, I can now scale it backwards to create this, and maybe I can just rotate it down or up to create a nice thing going there. Place this right in the middle, scale it inward. Beautiful. Great. Now I can do a little more work here, right there. Position it here, scale it, rotate it, maybe scale it again. Great, very nice. And one here. Great. This looks like a nice shark koi fish. And one here. Actually, before I do that, I'll make a transition right here. A better transition. Makes for a better edge loop. Great. Now, do I need one line that goes down like this? Maybe. I think that would be nice. In fact, I think like this just 2 lines would make a better better thing for the fish. So what I'll do is, why don't I just slide this edge a little more this way to make room for a good second one, and then I'll add that second edge loop. right here. Great. So again, let's touch it up. That's it. That's all I need. So fin under control, back fin under control, side fins under control. This whole area looks good. So I can improve this area. Looks like, see, it looks so straight here. So what I'll do is I'll select this vertex. Okay, I'll select this vertex and now to improve this area. Double click, set to component, move it out. My goal is to make it more rounder, or rather an oval shape. Looks good. Set to component, maybe this one, curve it downward. Select set to component, maybe this one, then slide it downward. Great, that looks nice. That looks nice. This looks horrible. Set to component, this. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'm considering why not place one edge loop to make this a better fin. I think that's a good idea. In fact, so I'll just place one right here. And do I need anything else? I don't think I do. In fact, I can just take this one and just scale it down a bit more to make it a better looking fin. There you go. I think that's it, guys. This is all I really need. The last one is really to improve this area. This looks a little clunky right now. I can improve that spot. Even maybe thinking, what about the top of the fin, top of the lips? Do I need that? Maybe not.